Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamisha, also known as Mrs. Coda. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about what is cognitive procedural approach, and I'm going to provide you guys an example on how this approach is actually used in the field of occupational therapy. And I think some of you are going to be actually surprised how often you use this technique. All right, stay tuned. Let's jump right into the video. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming and just being a part of my channel. I am so grateful for you guys. So we are talking about what is cognitive procedural approach. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you guys in to my computer and we're going to go through it, and I'm going to break it down and show you some examples. All right, let's go. Here we are. I just feel like this is the easiest way to really break this down for you guys and actually write down the examples just to make it easy on you and easy on me as well. All right, so again, we're talking about what is cognitive procedural approach in occupational therapy, and this treatment method focuses on cognitive processes, okay? And the cognitive skills that we work on and that we recognize in this approach is attention, problem solving, memory, and also decision making. All right. So this is used for patients who have neurological conditions. This is traumatic brain injury, and this is cognitive deficit, cognitive decline that's affecting their daily function. So when we work with individuals, we are looking to assess their cognitive abilities and identify any challenges or deficits that may impact their overall functional performance, because as OTs and OTAs, our goal is always to improve functional performance. So based on that assessment, all right, the approach typically involves breaking down complex tasks into smaller, more manageable parts, and this pertains to providing cues, prompts, and support, right, to assist the individual in learning and carrying out these tasks. So I'm going to give you a really good example in a second. So just keep in mind that with the cognitive procedural approach, the aim is really to enhance the cognitive functioning, develop a compensatory strategy, all right, and promote or transfer over those skills into real life situations, all right. So what we're going to do is take the theory and actually put it into more of a practical situation pertaining to when you are working with your patient and you're using this kind of approach. Okay, as I mentioned before, this is something that we are doing without even thinking about it. But if we want to kind of narrow it down so you can really reflect on what kind of approach am I using, why am I doing this, and you want to look at it evidence-based, this is how you do it, and this is why you do it. Okay, so the example I have here is a client who has experienced traumatic brain injury and has difficulty with organizing and completing daily tasks pertaining to meal preparation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some examples here. So the first thing I'm going to give you is, let's think of it this way. So if we're going to break down the task to help this person with their attention, problem solving, decision making, as I mentioned before, we want to look at task analysis. So we're going to look at task analysis, and this should not be a foreign title for you. All right, this is something you should have learned and understood while you were in school. So task analysis, what do we do when we're thinking about task analysis? Well, we're gathering ingredients, right? So if we're going to prepare a meal, we're going to gather the ingredients. We're going to focus on, maybe we're using vegetables, so we're going to want to look at maybe chopping the veggies. We're going to be looking at the cooking. We're going to be looking at plating, right? So we're going to take each of these steps and we're going to clearly define it. We're going to clearly break it down into parts. So if we're preparing a meal, let's say step one is us gathering. Let's use this one for example. Okay. Let's say with our task analysis, as I mentioned, we want to break it down into parts. So if we're doing meal preparation, we want to, let's say our first portion of our session is based on gathering ingredients. All right. So we're going to break it down even further. So if we're gathering ingredients, what are the ingredients we need for the particular task? Okay. So when I say what are the ingredients, you want to think of, okay, if I am making a sandwich, I'm going to need bread. I am going to need maybe peanut butter. I'm going to need jelly. Okay, so you are taking it step by step by step and you're breaking it down in this way, and it's very important to use task analysis. Another procedure is let's look at environmental modification. Okay, again, this should not be a foreign topic. This is something you should have went over while you were in school. So we're going to be looking at, what is the essential utilities that we need? What is our home setup? All right. Do we need to reduce distractions? All right. What kind of equipment do we need to use? Okay, if we're making a meal on the stovetop, what kind of equipment do we need to use? And also, is it going to be easily accessible? Okay, that's what we want to think of. Third thing we want to think of is their cognitive strategies that we're going to implement. So what are those cognitive strategies? Are we going to use a checklist so we don't forget what the ingredients are that we need? Are we going to use a schedule to kind of remind us, okay, it's time for meal one, meal two, okay? These are all, steps that we can put in. What about reminders, right? What kind of reminders can we put in place to assist our patient? And it's also good to implement positive reinforcement. Okay, what are the connections we're making here? Maybe we make something that the person really can identify with and they really enjoy and they really like. All right, how can we carry over this information? Okay, let's look at it from this angle. All right, let's look at it from this angle. If someone is very forgetful, okay, and they tend to have memory lapses, okay, there is a fine line between safety and a current cognitive deficit, all right, that will be enhanced or progressively get better in time. Okay, so if it's TBI, there is a progression where it can get better in time. Now, if you're looking at someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, that memory, that cognition is going to decline in time. So we're going to approach it from more of a compensatory strategy pertaining to our dementia patient. But then with our TBI, now we're looking at maybe we're going to do some memory activities, right? Some visual cueing, stuff like that to kind of bring that cognition back up. So I hope that gives you a good example on what I mean when I say this. So your cognitive procedural approach is really looking at that individual pertaining to their current situation and how we can either enhance it or modify it, compensate for it. We're going to be looking at how we can grade it, increase it, or decrease it. All right. So I hope that this kind of gave you a little bit more insight into what is a cognitive procedural approach. And the aim is to enhance functional functioning and developing competency strategies that we can translate it over into real life situation. The example I used was preparing a meal. Okay. And again, you want to look at safety. You always want to look at safety, and you take that first part and you break it down and you make it as simple as possible. You make sure it's not very wordy. You make sure that it's very direct. Okay. And then you build on top of that. So if I am doing an intervention, and let's say I have a card, picture cards, and maybe I have 3 picture cards. And in those 3 picture cards, maybe picture card 1 is a hazard, a kitchen hazard. And then picture number 2 can be a safety procedure in the kitchen. The same picture, but both of them have one has a hazard, the other one is what you're supposed to be doing, and then maybe the third one has nothing to do with a kitchen activity. So you can break it down as, okay, so 2 out of these pictures is showing you, let's say, someone in the kitchen. Can you identify which 2 out of 3 of these pictures is someone in the kitchen? So let's say they pick the 2. That's correct. Okay. So you move the third one out. That has nothing to do with the kitchen. All right. So now you have those 2. So in those 2, now you have a picture of a hazard with the person doing the task. Let's say that the person is standing at the stove and the stove is boiling over and they're on their phone, right? And let's say the same picture is there and the person's at their stove and they're cooking and they're watching the pot very carefully, something simple. And you could say which picture is showing that there's an issue or a posing threat of a hazard. And then you could pick that one. And then you could expand on that too. What in the picture is a hazard? And blah, blah, blah. Okay? So those are another way of incorporating safety, but also incorporating the cognitive portion as well. Now this video can get extremely long because I can even go even more in depth and break it down even more, but I just wanted to give you a little snippet, a little understanding, because you guys know in my videos I really try my best to make things very concise, simple, and easy to understand. So if you like this video, definitely go ahead, share, comment, leave your message below, and don't forget to subscribe. All right guys, until next time, bye-bye. So I hope that this video was helpful. Again, if you have any topic that you want me to cover, please go ahead and leave a comment in the description below, and I will put it on my video list to make sure that I can tackle it for you. Until next time, guys, take care and bye-bye.